Excuse me, Mr. God, sir.
It's just God. But what is it?
I've been studying the charts for tourists visiting the afterlife, and it seems to be going down due to lack of interest.
That's absurd. We haven't had a dip in centuries. We need to think of something that will increase interest and get people to visit the afterlife. I've got it! Go and grab Noah. We're going to need another boat. Oh, and get some paper. We've got invitations to write.
And that's why Pokemon Sword and Shield is undoubtedly a masterpiece. Oh wait, what's this?
Dear crewmates of all kinds, it's not often people like you receive invitations like this. If you have received this letter and are not in prison,
Damn it!
you have been invited to the ceremony of the afterlife latest and greatest, the SS Werewolf Battle Theme Remix. From the creators of Noah's Ark itself, this ship's got attractions that are sure to tear you a new one, so be careful. From a giant swimming pool to the largest seafood buffet, if you're not careful, you could cause some awful BS to go down. Guarantee that. This invitation will send you to the afterlife by force. But don't worry, it's only temporary.
Wait, what?
Well, it's been about a month since I've entered the afterlife for the first time, and I must say, I've gotten used to this place. You've got some surprising hits here, like the Dave & Buster's across the street. They've got Sonic Dash, the city from No Straight Road, the ruins of Tomato Town, and the last remaining Blockbuster. You see, there used to be two, but then someone wiped out Tomato Town. The afterlife's great, but sometimes I wonder if there's anything beyond this Fortnite map. Oh, did Sakurai finally send me the invite? Huh. So it turns out I wasn't invited to Smash Brothers, but rather I was invited to the opening of a cruise ship created by God & Co. I'm assuming this is the long-awaited sequel to Noah's Ark. I'm curious why I'm the only person in the afterlife to get the invitation. I guess it was meant to be sent down to Planet Among Us and just fell off the plane sending the letter. Sure hope the one person not getting invited wasn't important. Well, I should get ready to head for the docks. The ship leaves today, so I'd better hurry. Oh, and I should bring this too. A Hat in Time. A 3D platformer collectathon released in 2017 just to be overshadowed by Mario Odyssey a month later. The game started out as a Kickstarter project in 2014 with over 9,000 backers and slaughtering its initial goal of $30,000. The game's founder, Jonas Karla, thought that there weren't many 3D platformers in the industry at the time of the Kickstarter's launch and felt that it was time to change that by starting his own company, Gears for Breakfast, and making a platformer created to feel like a game ripped straight out of the late 90s and early 2000s like Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Banjo-Kazooie. Did his dedication pay off? I wanna guess. Yeah, I love this game. The moment I completed A Hat in Time for the first time, that's a pun. Don't keep that in the video. I knew it was gonna be one of my favorites, but what exactly made it one of my favorites? Well, we're gonna find that out today. But first, I've got a ship to catch.
Wow, a lot of people showed up. I didn't think we could pull it off so quickly.
I know! It's the craziest, most controversial, and highest budget project yet. We even got Obi-Wan Plays to sponsor the launch.
Hi, I'm Obi-Wan Plays.
You know, I gotta wonder why out of all things, we were given free copies of Sonic GX on DVD.
That's your main concern after getting sucked into the afterlife by a letter?
I mean, there is a lot of things to process at the moment. For example, I see why death is such an unfortunate thing now.
Hey guys, seafood, right?
Wait a minute. X-Pool isn't a citizen of Planet Among Us. He's dead.
I guess he somehow got an invitation, meaning one person will be absent tonight.
Well, Hopefully it wasn't anyone of note. Either way, it's about time to kick off the event. I don't see any issue with letting X-Pool tag along as well. Ladies and gentlemen, you have all been gathered here today to witness the grand debut of the SS Werehog Battle Theme Remix, the long-awaited sequel to Noah's Ark. The ship will start taking off once everyone is aboard, and will go around the island before stopping back here. The giant pool and seafood bar are on the top floor, rooms and coals are on the middle floor, and any guest who enters the bottom floor will face the consequences.
I'm gonna go to the bottom floor.
Not before me, though.
Anyways, I'd like to introduce the captain of the SS Werehog Battle Theme Remix. Any complaints, go to him, not me.
I'll be your captain this evening. I'm only here because my grandma made me get a winter break job. Please, don't complain.
Well, I better check out this seafood bar.
I as well. We'll soon be at the bar.
And I've got some things to do.
Well, I could always talk more about A Hat in Time. The game starts off with our protagonist Hat Kid waking up on her spaceship, starting her day as usual, checking the status of the ship and how close it is to her home. That is until a citizen of Mafia Town tries to break into her ship and accidentally has all of the hourglasses that power her ship fall onto the planet below. Hat Kid falls into Mafia Town and meets this mysterious girl dubbed Mustache Girl, who's trying to put a stop to the Mafia. Mustache Girl shows Hat Kid the way to one of her hourglasses, and after Hat Kid saves Mustache Girl from the Mafia, the two become close friends. Shortly after, the two plan to invade Mafia Theater and take down the Mafia's leader. After the plan goes off without a hitch, however, Mustache Girl learns that Hat Kid doesn't want to stop or kill anyone. She just wants to get her hourglasses back and go back home. Mustache Girl goes off on Hat Kid, straight up going,
"The Mafia is nothing! They serve zero purpose! You should stop the Mafia now!"
The story takes a backseat after Mafia Town. You just go around different areas on the planet to regain your timepieces. Even if they don't mean anything to the overall plot, these areas are still really charming and I enjoyed playing them a lot. I especially like this one in Chapter 2 where there's a murder on the Conductor's Express, and it's up to you to find out who the murderer is by going around the train and doing certain tasks to find more suspects. After some more shenanigans, Mustache Girl invades Hat Kid's ship and steals all of her hourglasses. She then uses this power to become ruler of the planet by warping reality and to remove all bad guys. Hat Kid goes through one final stage, testing all of your skills before facing off directly against Mustache Girl. With the help of her friends, Hat Kid defeats Mustache Girl and turns back time to win before Mustache Girl warped reality and leaves the planet never to be seen again. But then it's implied after the credits that it was all a dream, and I am currently curled up in my bed crying myself to sleep.
Holy sh! This sushi is crazy!
I feel like I was just ripped a new one.
Is the sushi really that crazy?
Yeah, dude, this sushi gas.
Oh hey, you got invited?
Yeah, I guess being formerly dead counts as not dying at all.
Speaking of not dying at all, is Matt with you?
Oh, nah, he was murdered. God sent him to hell.
Wait, what the f***? Matt's dead?
The game itself is so much fun and it feels fantastic to play as Hat Kid. You've got one simple goal. Go across multiple acts in each area and collect timepieces by completing tasks in the acts. Like I said before, the areas in this game are charming and loads of fun, and that is perfectly represented in the gameplay. Each area has its own set of characters that liven the world. You've got the citizens of Mafia Town, the multiple locations in Chapter 2 with all the different birds, the subcon forest with... I don't know. An Appline skyline with all the people and beasts, all of which have their own tones, set pieces, and appeal. But I feel it isn't right talking about all of these locations without talking about the best part of the game, the time rifts. The time rifts are small, bite-sized stages that you can find in each area. They remind me a bit of Super Mario Sunshine's secret levels, minus the pain and suffering that you get from being reminded that that game exists.
Why?
The aesthetics of the time rifts give me joy every time I see them for some reason, and the track that plays in each of the stages is probably my favorite track in the entire game. The different locations you can travel to are so much fun, and I'd love to see what other ideas Gears for Breakfast can come up with in a hypothetical sequel to A Hat in Time. The controls feel fantastic, snappy, and just fantastic. I can't put into words how much I love this game, man. Jonas definitely achieved the main goal he was going for with A Hat in Time, because controlling Hat Kid reminds me a lot of older 3D platformers from the early 2000s, and that is far from a bad thing. A Hat in Time has taken notes of some early 3D platformers such as Super Mario 64, however. She doesn't control like a tank and doesn't feel heavy snapping to different directions. Hat Kid doesn't have many abilities when you first start out. She can dive, use the umbrella she stole from the Mafia, and the homing attack, like Sonic. I can't escape this blue monstrosity. But where Hat Kid's main moveset lacks, that's where her neatly knitted hats come in. Like seriously, how does she neatly knit a hat like this with her umbrella? The different set of hats are where boys become men. Around each act, you'll collect yarn balls that can be used to craft different hats that give Hat Kid unique abilities, such as the sprint hat that allows you to move faster, the ice hat which turns you to an ice sculpture and stomps you right to the ground, the dweller's mask which turns invisible platforms visible, and so much more with their own unique costume swaps. My personal favorite is definitely the dweller's mask. It gives the platforming a bit of variety and strategy that I really enjoy. They should just have an entire game where Hat Kid has the dweller's mask ability. I'd buy it. Probably. The game's controls are great, and the hats are a genius mechanic for a game like this, and adds tons of variety and replay value to the game as a whole. You know, out of all the stores to feature on a cruise, you'd think Kohl's would be the last pick someone would choose. No wait, they got Where's Sonic available for purchase?
I'm telling you, the captain literally said you had Jeff Keighley shirts in stock.
I doubt it.
They're literally behind you!
No, they aren't.
What are you telling me? They're right behind you. Literally, turn around. Turn a 180
This is a Kohl's.
Well, I think now would be a good time to talk about the Switch version. I had in time for the Nintendo Switch makes me depressed every time I think about it. It's like that one member of the family that got kicked out of the house because they were at 720p 30 frames per second. Right, so putting the cartridge in, I immediately have to download the data for DLC, which was released around launch, and could have easily been put on the cartridge. The DLC is 6 gigabytes. You know, it's funny, a Switch version of the game was never actually meant to happen, but after fan outcry, Gears for Breakfast released the game anyway 2 years after the game's launch. Just a fair warning, there's a reason this game wasn't supposed to exist. So, now that the game is done installing, I'm making a mistake. For starters, A Hat in Time runs at 30 frames per second compared to the PC version's 60, meaning that not only does the game feel choppy, but it also feels worse to play in general. The resolution is also chopped in half, going from the 1080p of the PC version to a measly 720p. That alongside the chopped frame rate just makes the game hard to look at. On top of looking at things, the quality of the textures are also horrible. I can barely even make out what the actual textures on these models are anymore. It just looks gross. Even trying to boot into the stages are worse. The images on the loading screen are down-res to like 240p or something, and the load times have been increased drastically. It takes nearly a minute and a half to load into the first stage. Now, a real kicker here is that the Nintendo Switch version of the game is almost 2 times larger than the PC version, and 4 times larger than the PS4 version. Normally, games on the Nintendo Switch are compressed and smaller in size compared to their counterparts on more powerful hardware, but the opposite is true for this game, and it's absolutely unacceptable. Now, there's an obvious reason this port is bad. A Hat in Time runs on Epic Games' Unreal Engine 3. The Nintendo Switch, or any of Nintendo's platforms for that matter, don't support Unreal Engine 3. The Switch was the first Nintendo system to support any Unreal Engine, but it supports only the 4th installment, so the 3rd one isn't compatible with the console. This is the reason Gears for Breakfast initially stated before the game's release that the game wasn't coming to the platform. It would basically be impossible. A Hat in Time for the Nintendo Switch is a port in an unacceptable state. If at all possible, avoid spending your money on this version of the game entirely. This port of the game just goes to show that sometimes things are impossible for a reason. I don't want to play this anymore.
Nah, took you long enough.
We're trying to figure out why God didn't want us to enter this area. It seems perfectly inhabitable to me.
Look, I'm telling you, there isn't certain flavors of Pop-Tarts for different times of day. You just eat it as a quick meal. It's not a bit... All right, well, the moment everyone was told not to go down here, I knew for a fact people would come down here. Here's the chef hat. You're giving people food.
Huh.
Wait, isn't that the guy who wasn't working here?
Boy, this reminds me of A Hat in Time's DLC. A Hat in Time was given a few DLC packs after the game was released. Sealed the Deal, which I refuse to learn anything about and definitely doesn't relate to any current events whatsoever, and Nyakuza Metro. I'll be talking about the latter today. Nyakuza Metro's story is about Hat Kid exploring the underground metro city, getting timepieces for the owner of a jewelry store, and getting paid in Bitcoin or something. The story's placement in the timeline is confusing though. Wouldn't make sense if this took place during the main story since none of the characters from this chapter are in the finale. It can't take place after the main story since Hack Kid already left the planet, so I'm gonna place it just before Sonic Pocket Adventure, but right after Sonic R. The Metro is entirely cat themed, and just by me saying that, this video's editor just received a huge rush of dopamine. Literally everything in this area is cat themed. The citizens, the food, the trains are pulled by giant orange cats, the vacuums are cats, the passes have cats on them. Imagine if humans had this big of an ego. I could have a DaBaby themed vacuum. The area is huge and exploring it can be so much fun. There are multiple parts of the world from the main metro area, the tunnels where all the cats go, and some higher areas with train tracks for the cats. Why? Nyakuza Metro is literally the perfect example on how to do an expansion to a game like this. It's a giant playground for you to run around with some wonderful set pieces. I mean, like, look, Hack Kid's at sushi! Alright, Mr. Captain Sir, everyone's been given their meals.
He's done. You got a copy of Sonic Jam? We're running low on fuel.
Alright, God, hear me out. This cruise is pretty cool, but it's also kind of dog shit.
He's right. The sushi's really unfunny after the first hit.
Someone found out you're using copies of Sonic Jam as a source of fuel. Which is stupid.
And this random guy keeps bugging me about his live streams.
Bro, I'm live.
Go away!
I told you all before the ship left the dock to leave all questions to the captain.
Actually, sir, I don't really care. They wouldn't have gotten a satisfying answer from me anyways.
All right, that's the last straw. I'm blowing up this ship and killing everyone on board!
You could try, but could you kill Goku? Hey, it's me, Goku!
Oh yeah, you forgot to send Goku an invitation.
When I found out I wasn't sent an invitation just like everyone else, it really would piss me off. So I left the hyperbolic time chamber, and now I'm here to rip you a new one, God.
Yo mama! It's no joke!
Well, might as well finish A Hat in Time. A Hat in Time is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. It has a sense of charm and childlike wonder that I feel can't be replicated. It's got a wholesome, humorous, and cleverly written story. It controls wonderfully. It has nearly endless replay value, satisfying abilities, wonderful aesthetics, and so much more. Gears for Breakfast's talent and passion for this game are shown off with flying colors. That makes me think that Rice Gum came back to the internet to flex his newly crafted gaming skills. The number of attention to details that this game has is overwhelming, whether if it's a nod to another game, Hack Kid's ponytails having bones for some reason. I mean, this game has an achievement for looking up inappropriate things on a supercomputer. They didn't have to do that, but they did it anyway! A Hat in Time should, and most likely will be remembered for being a celebration of not just games from the Nintendo 64 and GameCube era, but a celebration of platformers as a whole. And that's why A Hat in Time holds a very special place in my heart. Not making a Sonic Unleashed joke was really hard there.
Wait, so if Goku killed God, does that mean that he's God now?
I don't care. I never liked the werehug anyways. But my question is, if God's the one that sent us and now he's dead, how do we get back home?
You know what, that is a very good question.
Well, that was an absolute disaster on a level that I couldn't even imagine. Goku's God now. The ship is about to explode because Sonic Jam isn't a sufficient fuel type. Everyone who was invited to the cruise is technically dead now, and I didn't even get to try the sushi. Well, if everyone's stuck here, might as well show them the city from No Straight Roads.
Wait, did he say the ship was about to explode?